Zoho Creator is a tool that helps you make your own custom apps to do tasks easier. With the new AI co-creator, you can even make apps by typing simple instructions. I'm Drew Brockbank, owner of Brockbank Consulting, an elite Zoho partner, and I've helped over 141 organizations to implement Zoho. In this beginner's tutorial, I'll teach you how to start using Zoho Creator according to best practices. You can get started with Zoho Creator for free by heading over to zoho.com/creator if you want to start your 15-day free trial. Or if you'd like to support the channel, you can use the link in the description below. It will take you to a form that looks like this, and it will also help you start a free trial with Zoho Creator. Another thing to keep in mind here with Zoho is Zoho offers many different products. Zoho CRM being their flagship product, and Zoho One being their best bundle offering, but you can see all the software here that Zoho offers. The reason that I mention this is some of you might be looking for more software to help your business run better. If you need a software, Zoho probably has an app for it, so just wanted to let you know. But we will be focusing on Zoho Creator for this tutorial. So go ahead and sign up for a free trial and you should be taken to an interface that looks like this. In Zoho Creator, the end goal is to create custom applications, and that's where you have solutions here on the left-hand side. You have this develop section. Develop is about creating those custom apps. So solutions are the custom apps that you're creating. You can see here I have Command Center. This is the custom app that I'm going to be showing you. Before we get into that environment, we're going to go over all the options here on the left-hand side, just so you know how to navigate to the different sections of the initial Zoho Creator page. So solutions are the custom apps that you are building. Then you have microservices. The idea behind microservices is these are small parts of the applications, the big custom apps that you're building. For example, I have connections to Zoho CRM, Zoho Analytics, Zoho Projects in this demo instance, so I can pull data from those apps into the custom app that I'm trying to create. Then I have these as data sources as well. So I'm connected to the apps and I can pull in data from them. Then I can even use custom APIs to pull in data from other applications, not even just in the Zoho ecosystem, outside of the Zoho ecosystem. We've got AI models, AR library, that stands for augmented reality, connections, data sources, custom API. Okay, lots of little services that can roll up to the custom apps that you're trying to build inside of Zoho Creator. Just makes the applications that you're building much more powerful. Then you have the deploy section. Okay, so first you create the custom apps. Second, you deploy them. Now, what does that mean? Well, when you're creating a custom app that's live, which means people are actually using the application, you don't want the changes that you're making as you're making it better to usually affect everyone that's using it, because when you're developing, things are really messy. So if someone's using an app and you're fixing bugs or you're trying to make updates and they're seeing things change on the screen and the way it's functioning in the back end is changing as they're using it, that's a bad experience for the end user. So what you want to do is you want to roll out the changes of your custom app in phases. That's why when you get an app from the App Store and they have a new update, it's like version 1, version 2, version 2.2. And so Zoho Creator allows you 3 different environments. Okay, so the first environment by default is the development environment. So if I were to go into solutions and go into the command center that I built here, by default, that's the development environment. Okay, so anytime I'm editing the application, that's by default the development environment. Now, if I want to test the changes that I've made in the development environment, I can publish the command center, which is the custom app that I'm building here, to stage. So publish to stage means publish the changes into a testing environment. Now, for some of you, that's going to be overkill, but I just want to give you an idea of why there's these 3 different environments so that you can make a determination on what to do on your end, okay? So publish to stage is for testing. Publish to production is the live instance. It's what the end users of the app are in, okay? So stage, testing, production, live, and then development is the default once you're actually editing the app, which you're going to see in just a moment. We just need to go through the rest of these sections. You've got mobile. So if you want to take the app that you built and make it into a mobile application, you can certainly do that. You can see here if I take Command Center, I can use, I have the application type is end user or portal, and I can do it on the iOS platform, Android, or a custom software development kit. Then we've got portal. So the nice thing is once you create an app, you can give people portal access. Now think about it this way. Portal access isn't the full access to the app. It's a limited access. It's a limited window into the features and functionalities and data that you've built into a custom app. So if you want to create portal users, you can certainly do that as well. Now, you'll notice when I hit manage here inside of Zoho Creator, once we move over to the next section, manage, when I click on users, it pushes me over to Zoho One. I'm in the Zoho One bundle here for this demo instance. So that's where it's going to have me manage my users. But the idea behind users is very straightforward. You're allowing people to access Zoho Creator so that multiple people can test the apps that you're making, help you make the apps that you're trying to create, and do testing. You've got organization here as a section. The idea here is very simple. You want to add organizational information here so that you can keep track of it in one place. Then you've got governance. This just helps you to set principles and policies for security. Then you've got metrics, and this just helps you to see how people are behaving in the applications that you are using. So if you want insights as to how people are using the apps that you've created, you can enable the metrics section here. Then you've got operations. This is an additional menu of settings that you can dive into. And then you've got usage, which is, hey, these are the amount of applications we can build, records, storage, etc. How much of it are we actually using? Okay, now to get to the fun stuff, let's jump into solutions now that we've gone over the whole hamburger left-hand side menu. We can jump into the app itself. Okay, so this is kind of the idea. I'm going to pitch you on this app that I'm making. So I was trying to think, I was going to make something really generic, and I was like, you know what? I actually want to do something that I would use here. So the idea behind Command Center is I want to give executives, leaders, business owners, organization owners, one place they can go to develop a strategy, okay? And then see how that strategy is unfolding. For example, there's many objectives in an organization, so I've added an objectives module here so that you can see all the different objectives that you're trying to accomplish. And then you can see them across each department in the organization. And then you can have a board here where you can actually see your strategy in relation to a timeline so that you can see this quarter I'm going to focus on this quarter I'm going to focus on this. Okay, so kind of interesting. The main idea here is I want to show you how Zoho Creator is built. Okay, so when we go to edit this application, now we're inside of the development environment, okay? So I just showed you kind of the front end. I'm just using it in the development. Now we're actually in a place where we can make changes. So now we're going to take a step back. There's 4 things that are really important to understand when it comes to Zoho Creator. You've got forms, you've got reports, you've got workflows, and you've got pages. Now, what's the difference between these things? So forms, you can think of as modules, objects, or if you were inside of a spreadsheet, every time you open a new tab, one tab would be a form that you're creating. So it's quite literally a form. Once you create a form, you can fill out the information as if it is a form. So for example, if I take you here and open Form Builder, it is a literal form with fields that you can fill out, okay? That's the first part. So you can add all of these different fields to a form. But once you add a form, that is like a tab on a spreadsheet that you've just added to the application. Okay. I mean, an application is really just a pretty version of a spreadsheet. So in the same way that you add multiple tabs at the bottom, that's like adding multiple forms. And we got to keep it generic here, but a form represents what we'd call more technical people would call an object. And an object is something that you're trying to represent digitally. And so, for example, in this object that we're in, or form called initiatives, we're trying to represent the different initiatives that we run for each objective. So an initiative is something we're doing, an objective is something we're trying to achieve, and a project is a specific body of work that we're organizing to accomplish something, okay? And then this Zoho projects is actually pulling in from Zoho projects, which is quite nice. So what does this all mean for you? You create forms as the foundation of the application that you're building, okay? And then you've got reports, which is your way of viewing the information. So initiatives, let's say we built out this form. We got initiatives, objectives, quarter dropdown. Go to done. And then I go into the actual live environment here. You can see here this is the initiatives form. So I can fill out the initiative. I can actually select this, and then I can type in a description and then submit. Okay. Objective added successfully. So now if I go over to objectives, I can see an objective here. Then if I go to strategy board, I can also see the objectives on this board here. And that brings us to the second part, which is reports. So reports is your way of viewing the form information. Okay, so once forms are added, if you want to see it in a list view, great, you can do that. If you want to see it in a Kanban view, which you just saw, we'll jump over here, show you some of these. If you want to see it in a spreadsheet view, great. That's one kind of report. If you want to see it inside of a Kanban view, you can see that here, which is just Kanban is just seeing records in relation to some kind of process or columns. And that's reports. It's how are we going to see the information that we've created in the forms. Then you've got workflows, which is the automations that you're creating. So what do we want the application to do? How are we going to configure the app so that it does things for us instead of us having to do everything manually? So you can connect a workflow to a button. When we go over to a record and I right click on it, I can have options. I can add automations to this. Inside the record, I can add certain automations. You can do quite a bit with workflows. It's very, very robust. Then you've got pages, which is, hey, if I have multiple reports, I want to put them on the same page. So this is a page, for example. So if I refresh this, you're going to see that I'm able to put multiple elements on the same page. So if you're familiar with Zoho Analytics, this is the way I think about it. You have your data, you have your reports, and then you have your dashboards. So your data is the raw information. Your reports are specific one panel views of information, like a bar chart. And then your dashboard is multiple reports. So bringing this over to Zoho Creator, the way I like to think about it is your raw data is the forms. Then your reports are the specific ways you want to view information, whether it be a list view, whether it be a bar chart, whether it be a Kanban view. Then you've got pages, which are where you can put multiple reports together. Then finally, you have workflows if you want to automate your work or have things configured or behave the way you want inside the application. Okay, so that's forms, reports, workflows, and pages. It's not super, once you have it explained to you and you start using the app, it makes sense, but it's kind of confusing at first. Okay, so I gave you a quick and dirty overview of those things. Now what I want to do is actually back up and show you how Zoho Creator works with the new feature, Co-Creator. So we're going to create a custom app together from scratch here. So going back to the Zoho Creator interface, now what I'm going to do is go to Create Solution here at the top right. And while we could create from scratch, create from gallery, or import from file, here I'll just show you the different gallery apps that we can create here. Sales management, order management, employee management, IT asset tracker. We have a very specific thing that we want to do here, okay? We want to create an OKR tracking app called Command Center. So it doesn't really fit with anything that we're seeing here. So I'm going to back out. We're going to go to Create Solution, create using Zia. So this allows you to create custom apps by just, in plain language, creating simple instructions. So we're going to say, I want a custom OKR objectives and key results tracker, custom OKR application for my executive team. There should be a module for an executive dashboard to see our progress on objectives. There should be an objectives module to create and see new objectives in a list view. And then finally, let's just put, we want a quarterly timeline Kanban view to see the objectives in objectives in relation to a timeline. Okay, so let's see how much of this it can get. We're going to hit start building here, and we'll see how this works. So we'll just give this a second. So the first thing that's doing is generating the data model. You can think about it this way, since we went over forms, it's creating the forms that are going to hold the information that's necessary. So here's the data model, here's the forms. Objective, key result, user, objective quarter, progress, okay? You can zoom out here, you can see there's user objective, dashboard. These are the different elements or different forms that are going to be inside of the application that's being created. So now what I'm going to do, and you can see we have these use cases: executive dashboard, objectives module, quarterly timeline, Kanban view, progress tracker, customization options. So this isn't perfect, but you're going to see how close we get. It really just springboards us into the process of creating an app so that we're not doing it from scratch. Okay, eventually this is going to get more advanced. You're going to be able to prescribe even more specific things you'd like it to do. It's going to get better and better, but for now, let's access this and I can show you how it works. Executive OKR tracker. So this is my first impression. It looks really nice, okay? So when I get to this executive dashboard that it created for me, total dashboards, total objective quarters, total user objectives. So this isn't super helpful, right? Like total objective quarters, total dashboards, it's like, total user objectives, that's pretty nice to see. Total key results, okay? Then if we go over to dashboards, you can see all dashboards. So dashboards is a section. You can kind of think of that module almost as a module, a different section of the app. All dashboards, what we're clicking on here, this is a report. Now we're actually seeing the information in a way that we want in a spreadsheet-like format. Okay, so then I can click into the records itself and I can see overview, user, objective. And I don't love this, right? So overview is user, objectives 3. Like, I don't know how that makes sense. Progress is 4. Okay. Objective ID 3, title boost productivity. Okay, here we go. This is what I want. So this is like maybe an objective ID here, or like the priority. Title boost productivity, description reduce meetings by 30% by June 2025. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Really cool. User ID and name, and then email. Okay, that's some good demo information. So that's storing the different dashboards, I guess. Let's see the objectives. And so if we click here, we can see objective improve sales, increase sales by 15% in quarter 2 2025. That's pretty cool. What I want to see here is not just all user objectives. That's cool. I want to see progress. Let's go to statuses. So this is pretty cool. It created a Kanban view for us so we can see not started, completed, in progress, all progress, progress ID, objective quarter, actual value status. This is pretty impressive that it got this down. Let's see all the quarters. Now, it didn't create the Kanban view that I wanted. Yeah, it didn't create that, which is okay. But you can see how it got here, okay? Which is pretty interesting. How it actually got to create these different modules. And if I'm being completely honest, if I wanted to create an app from scratch, I probably wouldn't use this feature quite yet, because it almost makes more work for myself if I give it some generic instruction and it creates a generic app, and then I have to whittle down the parts that aren't relevant, like the different forms that aren't relevant. It's almost making more work for myself. So I'm sure as this feature gets better and better, I'm going to use it more and more. But initially, what I would encourage everybody to do is, if you're going to make a custom app, what you want to do first is list out the general flow of the app, or at the very least, the objectives and requirements that you have for the application. What do you want it to actually do? And then how do you envision going through the app? I would write that down first. Why? Because it doesn't take a lot of time and it gives you a ton of clarity when you get into development, which is actually creating the application. And so instead of, I wouldn't tell you not to use this feature. I would just say it may make more work for yourself, as opposed to just writing out how you want it to work and then matching the features inside of Zoho Creator with a list that you build out. That's how I would encourage you to do that. That's how we do this here. When we meet with a client, we take tons of raw notes on everything that they're explaining. We convert those raw notes into a detailed step-by-step, and we call it an action plan, but it's also an SOP on how to use the system. It's also a step-by-step of the user flow and the customer journey. And that gives us so much clarity when we go into development. So I'd highly encourage you to do the same. I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention that. So in the application, we can go to access the application, and then you'll see at the top right here, we can edit the application as well. And you can see that we have multiple different forms here that was created, and then multiple reports that was created. No workflows were created. And we've got one page, which is that initial dashboard, which is actually quite nice. It looks great. They did a great job. So with that, that is the basics of Zoho Creator. That's how you can create an app from scratch using natural language in the new AI feature, Zoho Co-Creator. It's how now you understand the 4 basic components of Zoho Creator, which is forms, pages, workflows, and reports. And you know how to use the initial interface. So when you jump into Zoho Creator for the first time, you go to creator.zoho.com after you started a free trial or have your account. You're not confused by this left-hand side menu. You understand it because we went over it together. So with that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.